Welcome. I am Crimey Queen. Let's adjust this some more. Yeah, Crimey Queen. I'm just thinking of the name that came to me through writing my 2 volumes of the Crimson Light autobiography. And of course, because of its content, I had to, was required to find a pen name. This has just come to mind. I have been working on having fun with the word beginning. And if you follow my presentations, you will see I have had some struggle, and I have been talking about going back. And it had seemed like some fun to some extent. I had been going back. And I also remember saying in a few presentations that I felt Mother Eve was doing something very profound, like wanting to get me to go like underground. And it's as if I had to, it's funny that I was saying things like as if I had to enter the womb, and I'm using like an out-of-body experience as well in description of what I was sensing was happening. Mother Eve, if you are new to this channel, Mother Eve is the Eve that we were taught to be frightful of in the scriptures, and hence most of us are very scared of snakes. And I have had a very interesting time on this. Not just interesting, I've had fun doing numerology, and it's not too long ago that I was just saying, I mean just a few minutes ago or maybe an hour, that numerology has become my fun thing. It's been my savior. That is very true, because I have discovered through the Bible, the King James Version of the Bible, some pretty dark secrets hidden in the Bible. Perhaps never thinking that it would be discovered, because so much is taking place in the world today to shift our attention to seeking amusement, entertainment, and all sorts of things, and hitting on iPads and games and foods and abundance of all those things to distract one's attention. But because of my personal desire for life, to understand, to know, I have dedicated a lot of my time to understanding my makeup. And today, as I said before, it's like I had taken some quantum leaps. It's like now I understand why the serpent leaps. It leaps. It takes those leaps, and that's what had happened to me. That's what had happened to me reading Genesis of chapter 1, and I kept going back and forth. And Mother Eve, the serpent, which is Satan, which is Saturn, kept nudging me to go back to the beginning. And I can still feel her presence while I'm talking to you right now. It's that she'd been moving through me. It's like, or it's like as if I had been ordained to do this. When it is said that we are the result of an experiment, it is in the Bible. in King James Version of the Bible. When it is said that God created man in his own image and likeness, it is in the Bible that he created him, he created male, female, and he, them. Wouldn't you want to know which of these categories that you come from? Is it the he, him? Is it the male? Is it the female, or the he, them? Or could you by chance have come from the you man that was created, that was concealed in Genesis of chapter 1, when it says, and the evening and the morning were the first day? The spirit of sound mind is that it was the first they, They. It was the second they. And the word they equals 23. 23, which when added together is Mother Eve. 2 plus 5 plus 3 is 5. I was wondering, why am I doing beginning and having to go back to this subject of black-white equation of entrapment? I was wondering about that. And then to see that here, in fact, I even counted this. Wow. The spirit of Mother Eve. This is the 2-3 right here. 2-3 coming out. This is the they, the BL. This is the number 13, where I have been referring to as the incubator. This is why it is very important for black people to get on doing something. They have to come into that 2 and 3. They have to harmonize, because the L is necessary to pull them out of that incubator. The L is the 10. L is 10. L is from the word let, where Mother Eve said, let there be light. She is the first, she is the spokesperson. She's the one been talking to me right now. She's the one who has been guiding me. She is the memory of that which was within me when that experiment was done. The BL here, the L, the 3, that's the vibration, that is the wave necessary to bring about any form of life. And we see that something had been so strategized when I looked at these two words that create a function, when it is said that the white, the light, not the white, light come from the dark, and the light came out of the dark, and there was the spirit of Jesus Christ. In the same Bible tells you, don't you know you are the light of the earth? And there is the light that I really wanted to understand, knowing that in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 3, and where the said God, which is the serpent, which is Satan, which is Eve, says, let there be light. Let there be human. Let there be human, because human is representing the light on earth. And let there be the light. Let them be the light on earth. And of course there were stars also. Stars also equals number 5. And that is why I was awoken this morning as well by Mother Eve at 2:45 a.m. to 2:45, that would be 9, 10, 11, which is again light, because light is number 11. To read the story of Nehemiah, which I only have done 3 chapters, and Nehemiah equals 9. Mother Eve was telling me there is a birthing happening. Number 9 is birth. And I was saying I'm feeling I'm ready to birth something. And it was almost scary. I have said that in my videos. I do these videos intuitively. I would be probably potting around and say, well, Mother Eve, what am I supposed to say? I have like 50 or more cards with numerical values of things, because sometimes I get a stream of information, but when it comes to sitting here, I do this intuitively. And I was really asking on this last presentation, well, and I just thought, Mother Eve, you're going to have to help me with this beginning. I need to understand this beginning, that I need to begin. What is happening to find out that this 5 here, of course, coincide with Mother Eve on the sacrifice template that I have been working on beautifully. The sacrifice beautifully, that when you eat of the fruit, of course, I have discovered that eating of the fruit was really not how we had learned it to be. It was really something necessary to activating the Kundalini, to really activating your pineal gland. And having done that, the evidence of that is what has got me to realize that there had been 6 human used in Genesis of chapter 1 to be, and that would be black woman, to be used as experiment, where there would be this successions of other beings. And I have now, of course, I have known that we are of the memory, that's why we keep hearing about remember. It's remembering is so important, because the memory of our ancestors is still in us. It's still in me. That's what the serpent wanted me to know. That's what the serpent wanted me to remember. To remember that while we see the number 2 here, and the number 2 here is harmony, it's partnership, it's humble, it's caring, it's giving, but it also means rock. It coincides with the story from the same Bible, that this is where Christ would have said to Peter, upon you I will build my rock. So all those things are still in our memory. It's like doing some cruelty to a child and thinking it would grow up and not know at all. And there we have number 3. But I've also learned that, and looking at different aspects to this word black, because that's where we have had our main battles, as far as I'm concerned. Our main suppression, our main oppression has been around white, black, a subject that I never ever thought that I would be talking about. And I remember that I began writing my current book, which was going to be more on spirituality, and there was that notion, the nudging, that I should write on this subject, and I really declined from it. Mother Eve was wanting me to talk about that, and it was clear. And I says, do you want me to talk about that? Of course, I didn't refer to her as Mother Eve at the time. And the answer was yes. And now I am on this subject. And the number 32, of course, equals the number high. Of course, the high five, all of those things. But before we can even begin to understand the high that we are in this section, there would be a clothing company that would have an experimentation, or they hand their number 2 from the white, from here, their 2 pence. This is why we would say they're 2 pence worth or 6 pence worth. This is where all these terms come from, and we don't even get to understand it. The 2 pence worth going into the incubator. This number 13 actually coincides with the word incubator. And we know how a lot of people had been suffered having their children in incubators, where people can seem to do whatever they want with them. I am not happy at all. I don't know if people understand the magnitude of this, but this is a truth that needs to be told and needs to really, this is not about right now, about stories you may have heard. It is documented, and it is documented in the Holy Bible of King James Version. It is there. When we do, so of course, this is what I got to find out, because I work intuitively, but it's the spirit of remembrance is working in me. Human comes to number 3. That's the wave. That's the wave, the number 3. We see the magic of number 3 is in the first word, where Mother Eve says, let there be light. The word let in itself, and I have done numerous presentations on that. And of course, Mother Eve has been so the word let, L-E-T, is 3, 5, 2. When we add this together, becomes 10. That is the word for man, number for man. Of course, you man. And when we say, because the same Bible is the Bible that tells you about the spirit of sound mind, the letter U is there. Of course, H-U is there. H is like a ladder. It's that 8. It's the God number. And it's like saying the God 3 here. The God, or the free God, if you like, the God here. It's like pivoting the meaning, your attention to the meaning of what is coming next. This is what the quantum leap I had gone into numerology, learning about this right now. The first letter of any word, let's just shift this. The first letter of any word is telling you what, it's giving you an indication of what happens next. It's like D, when you add, for instance, D is like saying it is half of whatever else is going to follow. You could say 7 plus 1 is 8, and D is 4. So we could see as if D is giving you an indication of looking at something from both sides, which is 8 is the whole. We looked at L, I looked at L, and I saw that the letter L had 1 motion, 2 directions, and 3 points. So L in itself was already telling you that it has Mother Eve very much in there, and the L in itself is the same number of 6. It equals 6 in this sense, where it has a numerical value of 3. But it has in its makeup 6. And that's the spirit of creativity that has been passed on to us through the language itself, the memory that has been in me. What minds have gone, I am not able to make much sense of it right now, but it does not feel, it does not feel right. Or it's that I know we are the result of an experiment, and then we are given the learning to worship ourselves in a way, but not understanding, but ourselves coming under the umbrella, so we are given something to worship Mother Eve. But in worshiping Mother Eve, there is where the white is, hair, W. It's not like Eve hair. We are looking at the word sacrifice. This is done very, very strategically. This is where it is said about the 666, whether you have mastered the art of the beast in you. The beast is the serpent. The number 6. So here, which is Eve. And here we have on this section of the template, when this was being devised, and I have it recorded in my videos, I was not permitted by some force. Some divine force would not allow me to shift anything around here. And then we could see that W, H, I, T, T, and going back to E. So basically, on the right side where we have learned to put our attention and to write that way, to do everything going to the right side, we don't have much power, you could say, although now 5 is actually power. The word power is 5. So that's why we have been taught to write from this section going that way. If you're lucky to come out of that sack hair, you would be lucky to come out of that sack. And that's why we have reverence, giving you service to keep teaching you, keep going into this cycle right here in this bucket of the ritual of bread and wine, or whatever it was here. Keep you in that sack, keep you bonded in the agreement. Look, I'll give you the Bible, I'll look after you, I'll do this, I'll do that. Keep you there happy, eat, drink, have your Kentucky, have your pizza, have your Coke, have all these things. Be on Coke, be on a high in there. But the high itself, which would be H-I-G-H for high, you would be in this cold state, although it has the ice there with it. It would be a cold state, but actually you do get hot in that sack after a while with all these carbs that you are consuming. So yes, and then the only input or connection that you have while you're in that sack is the T from the white, coming here, dipping hands, getting their supply right here, and to go back to the economic settings or hierarchical structures and constructs of whatever it is, taking you to headquarters zone. This is where all your data and your paper and your NIS and your national insurance number, your health insurance number, and all those things are in the headquarters there. And then, of course, the inland revenue, because there's a revenue. It's about a revenue. I don't think that it would ever be thought of that there would be there would be someone like myself who decide to go on a fun journey and would discover, and that's what fun is about, because it is the same pattern. When you were a child and you keep playing, and your parents may say, oh, be careful, and until you trip and you fall, you don't stop. And actually, I have become so resilient. I don't intend stopping right now on this, because this is something people need to understand the magnitude of that, which means now, as far as I have seen, I do carry that 666, this is what I'm saying. I feel something is happening within me. It's like I am living. In fact, I meant to mention actually that the time of doing this, I looked at the clock and it was actually 23. The timer, not the time on my laptop, is 23:40. It was 45, meaning that is 5 and 9. That's the numbers Mother Eve has been at. The same 23, come to think of it. 23 is 5 and 45 is 9. And basically Mother Eve has been saying to me, you need to be counting backwards, 59. And of course, wow. I just felt like it was necessary for me. I have done this, of course, this realization I have just recorded, but the emotions, I had to take time and release my tears, and then to do this presentation, because I know that it's almost like halfway questioning myself. Have I really seen what I have seen? But I know I have really seen and understood what I have seen. It is the maths. It is the numbers. It is that when we add and we see that God said, let there be light, and there was light, and all the other events that happened, and of course, the morning and the evening were the first day and was the second day. I need to do the numerical values on first, second, third onto the sixth as well. I will be doing that. And of course, first I believe is actually 9. So meaning 9 is birthing. The word first, F-I-R-S-T, is 699, where you see all the 9s as well. Yeah, so this is 9 plus 9, 18. This is 20, this is 26, this is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. So we see that 9 is birthing. When we speak of the first day, it's like the first people, the first. And of course, the word the equals, in here, the word the, which is the second word in the Bible, in the beginning. And we see the Y behind this it equals 7. It's the 7 that you are. They put a tail behind that Y, which is the you man. And then they have a Y behind it to obscure it. Its head, the they, is like the human. It's you. And you equals 7. That 7 equals this 7, which is the Y hair. I get the picture or the voice of Y chromosome, XY chromosomes or something come to mind as well. So that's the human. And of course, we have 3 here. 3 for human, 3 is in direct correlation with day. Day equals 12. Now I also see in this this writing here the astrological correlations here as well. I see that too. But this is really something very, and of course with 7 being the bedrock, the rock that Peter would have been to Christ, here in the 7 is the middle, in the middle of it is Eve. It's like saying the serpent here is that, and the N coming together. We see how the 6's form again. S is 1 and N is 5. Adding 1 plus 5 equals 6. This is where we are with the 7. When we add Eve together becomes 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. When we add 5 plus 6, that's where we get our first master number. Why is it called a master number? Of course, because it became new. It became new. But Revelation has been wonderful in showing us that there is one motion, 2 directions, meaning 2, whatever it is was done, like the he, him, or the he, them, and 3 points. And as I say 3 points, the points of breast and navel comes to mind. I'm going to end this presentation here. I'm doing this, I'm not even sure about publishing it yet on today is actually when I woke up and I checked the date on the computer and I saw 222. And I thought, okay, partnership, harmony, togetherness. Today is really brilliant. And I got all excited about doing this too, because it's the 2nd of February, 2018. It's a year 2, it's the month 2, it's a 2 of the month, and it's the 2nd. I never ever thought that this would be the magnitude of what I would be discovering or embarking. And this is why Mother Eve has been on wanting us to see that beginning. There is a call for a new beginning, meaning the beginning is a realization of what was. And the word was is like that wave. It's that wave. This is why we hear a lot in the scripture. And that still means it's the number 3 as well. It's the wave out of the incubator. It's the incubator. It's that which forms the W, forms the E. So there we have, it's the 3, it's the E, it's the W, and it's the E. Of course, it looks like a real proper, beautiful flower when we do this. And this is where Ecclesiastics, or whichever it is in the Bible, and it says, man is like a flower, withers away and dies or whatever. But this is again, all this to take one's attention away from that which he really is. It's like saying you are insignificant. You are not insignificant to have lasted all this generation, because the memory and the soul is still alive. Hence the word soul actually is 13. Where the incubation happens. S-O-U-L. You got soul. Because in actual fact, it's like saying that O, no matter whether you twist it into a 8 or not, and which is what Mother Eve did, had to twist or untwist the 8. She ate of it. She just ate it. Hey, so in soul, we have got the 2 3s. There's the double vibration that is necessary for something. This is the soul Mother Eve had in the waters, and of course to bring life. So this is 12 and 1, 13. This is the 13 that we have taught. We heard the story of the 13 all around. We heard a story about Osiris being cut in 14 pieces. We heard the stories. There are different 13s going around, and this is where Christ was with his disciples. But when Christ had the agreement to have the to drink of the wine, which is, and it's funny that someone should give me a bottle of wine today. It just seemed, and I just got it from a very, very strange way, that I picked collected my neighbor's parcels, and of course there were 2 crates of wine, and of course he said, would you like a bottle? And I thought, okay, because I'm not into alcohol as much anymore, very rare, but it's that I have just learned to be accepting, and it's a kind gesture, and I thought, okay, and there we are. It's like I have just, know that I will have a glass of wine, of course, after I get my emotions sorted. But this is where one gets then again, I mean, well, it doesn't matter. One gets condition in this section. This is where one gets condition in this section, and when agreements are formed, as I say, you become equal. This is the teaching of Emmett Fox. You find something like a consciousness on which to attach itself to. So what you find now is you are on 2 points. You are on points, like the L. You are on points. So you form a bond. With the red in itself would be that blood that give it life. You shake hands here, and that's where the agreement for comes. And this is where people, of course, they break from agreements, but the cycle, those who know this secret have learned how to tap back into the cycle and reinforce the agreement each time, like going for communion or doing whatever it is, drinking of the wine, because of course it is delicious. Instead of going and chew on a couple moringa seeds. So this is what we need to be very, very mindful of. We need to understand this. We really need to understand this. The human had been experimented on, and through the human came out the he, him, the he, them, male and female. That's in Genesis chapter 2. The 2 sets of creation here. And people are telling me that they haven't understood this. So much is going on about religion. I want people to get this. Really want to get people to get this. Okay. I know I'm on a high right now, but that is the other spectrum of the black, which is 23 here. And just to really highlight this as well, because I was looking at this, okay, you have the 5. We learn 5 is more valuable than 2. We learn 8 is more valuable than 3. We learn 9 is more valuable than 1. We see that we need the 1 here. 9 is birthing. It's birthing from the inland revenue keeps making, and it needs to tap back into this, which is really the A here is really the pyramid in that sense, right here. But it has the same numerical value, the same structure for 1. And here, this is an I here, which has the same numerical, well, this is 9. Now 9 here is really the I, which also has like 8. So there is the I is there. It has to be open to be able to see, to go and have that T. And to make it more effective, you are given a cross from the T to anchor onto in here. This is it, because the cross is from the 13th, where Christ, this is the 2, you have the cross here, and you have the 2 here, you have it on the K. On either sides, it's like you have been, okay. I like to finish my, to try and get to, see the positive in this, in everything that I do, try and get balance, because Mother Eve was really about balance. But Mother Eve is really about fairness. Mother Eve is about, it's amazing. I was just wondering, why am I looking at 2, boys? There were 2 boys playing with snakes, snakes or serpents, whatever you call them. They were playing on the ground, and these snakes were running around, and one child has a snake in his, well, it would be whether it's his right hand, depending where, he had held onto it, and he is helping his friend to hold on to another one. He was demonstrating such audacious and you know, it's like he was a god of snake. And this is what is so delicious when you are doing something. Always ask the question, what is in this lesson? What is in this scene for me? This is the scene we were born in. What is in this scene? That SCENE, which really, when I check the words, it's that Mother Eve is very present in the scene. So it's like the scene is done, and it doesn't even seem to, I don't know, like had much thought to conceal what was done. No, it didn't seem like that. It's like the word scene. I almost want to ask, may the Lord have mercy on their souls, because now we are part of that makeup, or to some extent. So what do you do? What do you do? So we are born in this SIN, and this is really very clear. Is like the serpent is here. This is the serpent, which is Mother Eve, and it's like saying, which is Satan, all the things that we should be scared of, all the things that we should be scared of. The serpent, Saturn, the snake, and Mother Eve, because of course she disobeyed God. And of course, when we see her, it was known that she was a god in herself, a goddess. It was known she was a goddess. And so we see that here we have 9 and 5. This is, again, from the scriptures. These are the words here. The first, third word of the Bible, of course, is 9, beginning. That's what I had been trying to begin. And of course, it's the third word, and it's 9. 3 threes are 9. And then we have N, of course. N for, which means end. When we add this together, it's 14. Now, I'm just going to conclude. I don't know how much, I know I've been going on, but I'm hoping I can really put this in. That Nothing, Emmett Fox again, nothing comes into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. Mother Eve equals 14. I am one of 14 children. And Eve equals 5. I am the 5th child. Then we see that she is the God, the said God. The word God equals 8. 8 is my life path number, and it also is I'm also the 8th daughter of my father. I am just drawing on this. My real name is Shakti. That equals 23. This is the same very 23 that we have been talking about right here. And I have been also wondering, what is this? I know what it means, what Shakti means. I know what 23 means in a lot of things that I have done. But it kept talking to me, particularly when these figures fell down, because it was 32 before, and then they fell down. They fell down because my attention had to go back to the beginning. My attention had to go back down, not up, feeling high, had to go back down. There are so many direct correlations with my life and this story of Mother Eve that it really is just, I almost did get frightened about it, but I'm not anymore, because I understand that it meant it was necessary to have a person who had or have the characteristic or the makeup of Mother Eve. And my own personal journey with my mother, I felt it was very important, of course, being born of a different father of my other 13 siblings. That in itself did pose a lot of personal issues for me to work with, which led me to writing 2 volumes of The Crimson Light. So that in itself was pinnacle to getting me to on this journey that I